please welcome Travis Chappell.
What's going on, guys? And gal? How are you guys? How's the conference been? Sweet. Well, as he mentioned, we're going to talk about the $1 guarantee to break 75K MRR. I'm going to try to get through this as quickly as I can to see if we can get through to maybe some questions here at the end. But you have to forgive me if I'm a little bit slow. I just got back from Cancun on a vacation. Just like for software founders, you guys know we don't really take vacations often. So I'm feeling nice and relaxed. Had to get some coffee to wake me up a little bit. But we're gonna roll through this. Okay, so the next 20 minutes. Dollar offer structure, how to increase your average order value, and then where to go find some traffic for the funnel. Okay, so this is just all in one funnel that we created with the startup that I'm running called Guestio, where basically we connect podcast guests and podcast hosts, more or less. And there's a lot more detail than that, but we'll jump in here in a second. So, dollar trial funnel. How to structure your irresistible offer, how to script your high-converting VSL, even if you're not a copywriter, and then we'll take a look at some of our numbers from when we were running traffic directly into this offer, okay? How many of you have an actual working funnel up and running currently? Okay. How many of you do not know what I mean when I say funnel? Okay, cool. Just want to make sure. All right. So, and it's important to note, so 127 was all of 2021. We started development 2020. We did soft launch 2021, just kind of brought on some users, tested, got some feedback, little bit of revenue here or there. And then January is really where we started to kind of grow organically. What we did is we launched a back-end offer in January that allowed us to be able to get back some of our customer acquisition costs. And then that's when we plowed it back into building out this dollar trial funnel, okay? And then that was in February, and as you can see, that kind of just kept growing up from there. July, we had a little bit of a down month. Obviously, I built these slides when we only had June. July, we had a little bit of a down month, but then in August, we closed at 220. So it's still been kind of constantly growing throughout the full year. So first off is your irresistible offer. Now, this is hands down the most important part of any funnel that you're going to put together, any idea that you have, it's all about the offer structure. Okay, so I put this book up here because if you have not read it, you're doing yourself and your company and your customers and your family a disservice. It is like a complete handbook on how to model or how to structure your offers. And he goes way more into detail than obviously I can in a quick 20-minute presentation. But I put up some of the core things that I focus on when we're building out the offer. Number one is your market. If you don't have a clear understanding of your market, you cannot solve the problems that they have. And not just in terms of the total addressable size of the market, but also in terms of whether or not the product that you have is solving a pain, whether it's a painkiller or whether it's a supplement. Is it a need to have or is it a nice to have? Because especially as we move into more of kind of an unsure economy, shaky ground economy, best case scenario right now, people are going to start not buying the things that are not necessary for them to buy, if that makes sense. They're going to stop with the supplements. They're going to stop with the little add-ons and the little extras. They are only going to spend money on the things that they absolutely need. So your offer needs to speak to the need of that particular market. And if you don't know the needs of that market because you haven't done the work on figuring out what the market is, everything else is going to be way more difficult from there. So start with the market. And by the way, the market's the most important part of the offer, because if you have a starving market, it doesn't matter what the offer is. If you sell crappy tacos, but you're selling them at 3 a.m. outside of the bar to a bunch of drunk assholes, then you're probably going to sell out of tacos every night, right? They don't have to be good. You have a starving market, a literal starving market. They're going to buy them regardless. Now, obviously, you don't want to have crappy tacos. You want to have a good product as well, but it speaks to the power of first finding a market that really needs the thing that you have to offer to them. So start with the market. Keep your offer low ticket but free, because this is talking about a specific offer on the front end of a funnel that you're selling to cold traffic, or at least semi-cold traffic, even if you're doing JV launches. What was your name again? Rob. Well, to what Rob was talking about with the JV launches and joint webinars and things like that. Keep the front end really low ticket, but don't do it for free, because you still want to get the credit card information so that you can put them on a rebill, because everybody here is doing MRR, ARR. Everybody's focused on let's get recurring billing. We want people who not only like us enough to give us money once, but love us enough to continue to give us money because our product's so valuable, right? So keep it low ticket, but don't make it free. When I say low ticket, $99 and less. especially if you're selling to cold traffic. Anything higher than $99 direct to like a VSL or landing page or something like that, you're gonna have a difficult time converting to cold traffic. Make it so good that they can't say no. This is, I immediately put the next thing down as soon as I put the so good they can't say no thing, because immediately when I say that, people's mind instantly goes to price. And it's not about price, it's about value. So whether you're selling it for 99 bucks or for $1, the idea is you have to overwhelm them with value and make it to where when they're looking at their offer, they're reading through the bullet points and they're trying to figure out the deliverables and figure out if it's something that's worth the risk of them pulling out their credit card while they're scrolling through Instagram or Facebook or whatever, then it has to be something that's so good that they can't say no to it. It means it has to be overly valuable for what you're asking in return and completely risk-free. There's no risk for them if they take it. And so to give you an example, this was the VSL outline, the actual script for our dollar trial offer that we put together, okay? So start with the hook, the promise, guarantee, social proof, call to action. And then you could add a couple things at the end of this, at the end of the CTA there. If you want to do a little bit longer one, you could have that be like more like a soft CTA, like, hey, if you heard everything that you need to hear, then go ahead and sign up right now. But if you want to, stick around for, 90 more seconds, put another hook in there, make sure that they stick around for a certain period of time. Then I'm going to, show you 3 more things about blah, 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 blah. And then you go into a little bit more social proof, a few more, client testimonials, case studies, and then put that after the soft CTA, do a hard CTA right again at the end of that, and then really try to close people into it. So this was our offer. So like I was saying, one of our core offers is we help get people booked on podcasts to promote their offers that they're SaaS founder, coach, consultant, whatever. You get booked on podcasts. It's really, really, really high quality, super warm traffic that you can get just by being a guest on somebody else's podcast. It brings you credibility, authority, trust, recognition, a lot of different things like that. So that's essentially what we do as a company. We have an agency that does that, and then the software does it as well. So the to pay attention to is this part right here. So here's how it works. So obviously at the top, very direct. This is called direct VSL. It's not indirect. We're not speaking to people who are just problem aware and trying to get them to become solution aware and then product aware. We're speaking to people who are already aware that they have a problem. They're already aware that we're trying to solve that problem. And then now we're just trying to convince them that we're the best solution to that problem. Does that make sense? Cool. So start with a hook, and then we come into the promise. And then the here's how it works part. So sign up for a $1 trial of Guestio Pro by clicking the button below. Then once you set up your profile, all I have to do is pitch 10 shows on booking you as a guest over the next 30 days. If that doesn't get you at least 1 booking, so if you use our software and it doesn't do what we say that it can do, then my concierge team will step in and find a booking for you guaranteed. So regardless of whether or not it works with the software, you will get your next podcast booking for $1. Now, we go into, put that in perspective. So now I want to contextualize that a little bit. I actually paid graduate level research to put together a comprehensive report on the top booking agencies out there, but podcast booking agencies specifically. I literally paid $4,000 just to get this report done so that I could put it in the VSL. So we had data to, back up what we were saying to people. So on average, it's $400 to $500 per appearance. So again, this is what I'm talking about with overwhelming with value. It's not about the price point, it's about the value. So if I'm saying I can get you a booking for $1, and if you do that anywhere else, unless you have a bunch of contacts with a bunch of podcasters, which is not likely, then you're gonna pay an agency $400 to $500 every time you want one of those. You pay me $1 and I'll give you the same thing. Okay, then you can keep using the software because most of the time if people actually get in and do the things that we're telling them to do inside of the software, they can get more than 1 booking per month for $97 a month. So we want them to get in and start using the software, take the actions that we want them to take, and if it does not do the thing that we promised that it would do, we're gonna do it for you anyway, guaranteed, no questions asked. Okay, does that make sense? Does that sound like a pretty good offer? This is the key to getting people inside of the funnel before you can start then throwing in here's something else that we could potentially do for you. Also, we do this, and maybe that might be more interesting for you or whatever. Okay, so hook, promise, guarantee, social proof, CTA. Any questions on this before I move on? All right, so this was the result for us while we were running this offer. This is, like I said, directly to cold traffic. So we didn't do any affiliate stuff. We didn't do any launches. We didn't have much of a warm list to start out with when we started this. It was just a few Facebook ads that we ran on Facebook and Instagram, and we put traffic directly into a VSL that sold a $1 trial, and then this is what happened with that. Trial conversion rate was about 42%. So the people who took the $1 offer 42% of them stayed on for the first month, and obviously we're still working on the numbers in terms of how long they typically stay on, but it's looking to be a lot longer than that, which is obviously good for our LTV. Now, this is the key to the funnel, because we're talking about how to get your CAC, how to get your CAC back as quickly as you can, okay? Because this is, in my opinion, the key to scaling, and I think everybody would agree with that. The sooner you can get that back, the sooner you can go spend more money to go acquire more customers, okay? So let's just go ahead and jump into it. This is a friend of mine, kind of a mentor as well, Joel Marion. He sold his company BioTrust as a supplement company for multiple 9 figures in December. And when I interviewed him for my podcast, because this is how I got into all this, I'm just a door-to-door sales guy, turned podcaster, turned software founder, weird kind of story. But when I talked to people like this and interviewed a bunch of like really successful people for my show, I started learning a bunch of things. And this is one of the things that always stood out to me. And Joel told me this, and he said, I effectively lose money better than anybody else. And I was like, what do you mean by that? Because it doesn't sound good. Like, I can lose money really quickly too, but I don't get paid as much as you, it seems. So I'm doing something incorrectly. All he meant was that, to your point as well, Rob, so Joel built his company mostly through affiliate marketing. And all he meant by that was that he knew his back-end numbers so well, he knew his LTVs so well, and what eventually those customers would end up buying from him, that he was able to actually pay out more than 100% affiliate commissions on the front-end offer that he put in front of people. So if you're an affiliate, you're selling a $50 product, and you're getting paid a $100 commission to sell a $50 product, that's a pretty good deal. So he was able to attract the best affiliates in the world, and in his first 12 months in business with Supplement Company, he did over $100 million in revenue. In 12 months, with a physical product, over $100 million in revenue, all because he knew that with his email marketing skills, that's essentially like his core skill set. He's emailed us to over 20 million people. He knew that if they came onto the list, that he was good enough and knew the proper upsells and path, and understood the customer journey so well that they were eventually going to stick around for X number of months and would eventually become profitable for him to do that. Okay, so this is the overall numbers of like page views, the opt-ins that came through, the people that came into the first page, which is 369 right there. So that's the dollar trials. Now that first upsell, this is where obviously we made back the majority of the money that we were spending in advertising. Okay, so we spent right around that number on ads during this period of time. And obviously this dollar trial, if you do the math on this, 369 times $1 is a lot less than 3,446, right? So we immediately had an order bump on the first page, which if you do not have an order bump, you're losing money immediately. Okay, it's free money. Put something there, make it valuable, make it something they can't say no to. We had a dollar trial and we had a $27 order bump. And the order bump take rate bumped us up to the point where we had $3,400 just on the initial order form from a $1 trial. So like our average order value heading into the rest of the funnel was already a 15x of what the dollar originally was, right? So the upsell, this was a crazy good offer. Once again, it's $97 a month to have Guestio Pro. What we did is if you bought on that page, we gave you annual access to Guestio Pro for $497. Couldn't get it anywhere else. That's 60% off of wherever you're going to find it. But what it allowed us to do is collect $25,000 on a funnel to absolutely dead cold traffic that never heard about me or my platform in their life before. That makes sense? So we put another irresistible offer after an irresistible offer, but the fulfillment on that is just the software, right? So we were making the annual enough, 13% take rate on that to bump us up to where we were like, okay, now this is actually making serious money and actually bringing back some of the money that we're spending on acquiring these customers to begin with. Then as a fail-safe, we plugged in a downsell after this upsell. So we had annual upsell after the dollar trial, and then we went to a downsell on a quarterly. So we sold quarterly at $297 a quarter after they said no to the $497 upsell, as one more chance to be like, all right, look, before you go, here's one more opportunity to do this, and we're going to throw in this bonus or this discount or whatever it is if you want to try us out quarterly instead of annually. And then that brought in another $3,000. So every single piece of this is why it's so important is the average order value started bumping up and getting really close to what our CPA actually was, right? So the closer you can get your AOV to your CPA, that's how you start being able to predictably scale. So I'm getting notification I'm going too slow here. So I'm going to try to run through a couple of things. And if you have questions, stop me afterwards, okay? So there's the order bump. Credibility code is just a training that I put together on how to effectively use this in your marketing and stuff like that. And then there was the 1 year. This is what after we bumped it up. It was actually $497 when it was really converting the best. It was at $497. And then this was like the really big thing. So we have an agency. We built an agency offering on the back end to say basically like, look, if you don't have time to use the software yourself, you have a massive business and you're making good money, and you don't have the time to use the software, let us get you booked on podcasts for you. We'll do it all completely done for you. And so we put this on the thank you page. It's not even like a part of the actual funnel. It's on the thank you page. So you click play and it's like, hey, thanks for doing this. It's a regular thank you page. Here's how to get your stuff. Make sure you check your email, check spam, blah, blah, blah. But then it was like a quick call to action to, hey, if you're doing 7 figures, 8 figures plus, there's an application right here to be a part of our agency. And so this is really what ended up outperforming the entire funnel. This one thank you page brought in over $40,000 directly within 60 days of launching it. And the people that jump into our agency are 12-month contracts. So our contract value is hundreds of thousands of dollars, all on a $1 trial offer. Does that make sense? All right, cool. We're going to run through this real quick. Okay, so lastly is traffic. So here's a quick warm audience hand raiser email that we did that converted pretty well to the people that we had already existing on our list. Don't let the people that you're paying to acquire go dead. Okay, I made a mistake in one of my businesses where we were paying a bunch of money. We're doing a webinar, bringing in traffic, adding people to our list, and then I just did not engage them properly, and the list went dead like 8 months later, and it was just a shit show. Excuse my French. So make sure that you're always staying in touch with the list because stuff like this can work extremely well. It's just a quick one-liner to say, hey, in case anybody's interested, here's something that we're doing. Okay, leverage OPA. This is what we do. So I had to mention this one. Other people's audiences. Podcast stages, blogs, publications, do not underestimate these traffic sources, especially because they're so much easier to go get than a lot of the things that you would think would be more difficult than that. Like the getting booked on podcasts, getting on stages like this, or doing guest posts on blogs, or being featured in publications. All these things are ways to get other people's audiences without having to pay a bunch for them, okay? So this is just an example of me being on Ryan Pineda's show recently. He's a kind of real estate guy. You can see the accounts reached, the likes, the comments, the shares, and the saves that were all about the thing that I do. We got 3 or 4 applications in on this. This was very recent, like a week or 2 ago. 3 or 4 applications in. I have like 3 or 4 calls on my calendar scheduled with people who all have 7 or 8 figure businesses. We'll probably get at least one of those people, maybe 2 of them. And it was just from me going on somebody's podcast. Okay. And then the big deal is the 3 reasons cold traffic is important besides the actual direct results that it gives you. Now, this guy right here is a pretty controversial dude. I don't know if you guys all know Grant or have followed him or whatever, okay? Regardless if you like him or you don't like him, he's a very, very good marketer. And I did this mastermind in Cabo with him and about 25 others a couple weeks ago. And this was one thing that one of my biggest takeaways from this weekend was when he said that he was talking about advertising, and he was like, people get it wrong. People only advertise to acquire new customers. And he was like, acquiring new customers is at the bottom of the list for me in terms of why it's important for me to be advertising and putting our brand out there. He said the number one thing is you. It's your brand. It's your company. It's more awareness around the things that you're doing. It's all about impressions. Because better known beats the better one all the time, right? Best known beats best. You guys ever heard that before? If you're the best known solution, you're going to get more business than the one who maybe is the best solution, even if they're better than you are. Okay? So your brand. Number 2 is your competitors. You want your competitors, anybody that's thinking about doing something similar to what you're doing, or anybody that is already doing something that you're doing, and they're like spying on you, you want to give them as much evidence that you guys are crushing it as you possibly can. okay? Because you want to discourage, like if you, especially if you're you have first mover advantage, you don't want a bunch of other people coming in your market, and if they think that you're, flailing and not solving the problem effectively, that gives them an opportunity to move in and take some of your market. The last thing is your business development. And this has been one of the biggest things for me is like advertising on Facebook, Instagram, just for webinars or whatever has brought me, I mean, we raised over $1 million last year for like a pre-seed round to just get the first version of the software out. And probably over $100,000 of that came from investors that saw an ad that had nothing to do with advertising or investing in my company. It was just because they kept seeing ads over and over and over again. And so I just went to an industry conference for me, Podcast Movement's a massive podcasting conference, like 3,000 or 4,000 people. And I don't know, a dozen plus people while I was there came up to me and was just like, Travis, I keep seeing your ads. I keep seeing your ads. I keep seeing your ads. Let's do business. Let's talk sometime. Like even the people that aren't clicking on it and filling out information and going through the funnel and getting emails and signing up and taking the annual and the dollar, like even the people that aren't doing that, they're still seeing you on their feed, and it's always going to be good for your brand. So it's why I say like, grow your brand and your business as much as you can and in any other channel that you can, and maybe start with warm traffic, especially if you're bootstrapped. But cold traffic to me like is always the best for predictable scaling. Because it brings you so much more than just customers. It brings you everything else that customers by themselves don't bring you, okay? So, dollar trial, increase your AOV, and then go and get traffic. I know I went through that really quickly. So, does anybody have any questions for me real quick?
What's a good resource that you recommend on how to script VSLs?
There's a lot of them out there. Actually, one of our clients is a good copywriter to follow, Stefan Georgi. Writes a lot of direct response copy. I would say that would be a really good one. At the end of the day, if you follow that outline and then just watch good converting VSLs, that was the best way that I did it. Was like I had a few friends that were really good at doing VSLs, and I just watched like 6 or 7 of them, wrote out a quick outline, and then just recorded a couple different versions of it, and had a couple people look at it. But yeah, it's most important. Just like you don't have to be crazy good, like crazy unique with it or whatever. It's just directly speak to the problem that you're solving, and then give them an offer to solve that problem that they cannot say no to. It's the most important part of it. It doesn't have to be 35 minutes long. Just simple, direct, but make sure they know that when they leave, you can solve their problem. Cool. Well, I think that's my time, so I apologize, but I appreciate you guys for coming out. I appreciate it.